Alright, what's up? We're reading the latest chapter of Attack on Titan. This one is 117. It's called Judgment. On the cover, we have our Scouting Legion loyalists. Remember those simpler days when we basically had our team of good guys and they were out just fighting Titans all the time? Yeah, I can barely remember too. The plot has gotten quite complicated. There's many different factions in play, all of which want goals that are not entirely mutually incompatible, but certainly cannot be given second support to anything else. We've got Eren and Zeke and their coup within the Eldian military, trying to retake the power of the original Titan such that they can modify the genes of all Eldians so they will never reproduce again. Voluntary mass extinction, well, not voluntary, but non-violent mass extinction, all of them just walking hand in hand into infertility. Meanwhile, the Eldian army that was betrayed, including Mikasa and Armin, who are now scrambling to try to make sense of Eren's latest plans, scrambling to try to retain some sort of hold on Paradise Island. And then, of course, there are the Marleyans, who just at the end of the last chapter rolled up in their big zeppelins, having spotted the beacon from the Cart Titan and the Jaw Titan, signaling that Eren's locations had been found. So all of this kind of political and anti-natalistic and all of these philosophical gray areas where we really have no idea who to root for have been radically simplified by that latest development. Those Marleyans are bastards. That's the long and short of it. And now they are clearly here at war with whoever's willing to fight them on Paradise Island. That's a nice, straightforward, gigantic climactic battle. And I expect that to be the primary focus of this chapter. Here, down in the prison, we can see the Eldian loyalists hearing the sound of the zeppelins overhead, people titanizing. Armin in the last chapter crying out of sheer awe at the nobility of Zeke and Eren's plan after Yelena described it to him. But I'm not really sure what to make of that. Like, I don't know if those were sincere tears or if he was sincerely crying but about something else, or if he really does believe in this new anti-natalist plan. But he certainly does not want to see the ending where Marley just rampages through and kills everybody. And that seems quite likely here. We're seeing dozens and dozens of Marleyan soldiers parachuting down from the Zeppelins. These could even be Eldians from the ghetto that have joined the Marleyan forces and thus are capable of turning into dumb titans at the flick of a switch. The gigantic cannon, it looks like, being airdropped here too. This is, you can see that it's on rails. This might be something that they're using in the war efforts against other more modern countries where they can take advantage of the existing infrastructure. Paradise Island, there's no train on Paradise Island. Just gonna drop it. Just drop it on the roof or something. So here we have Miss Pieck, who cannot titanize because she is handcuffed still to Gabi, does not want to turn into a gigantic mule-like titan and crush her dear friend. So kind of just staying out of the way as Eren stares down the Jaw Titan. This seems like a pretty fair matchup, IMO. They're around the same size. Jaw Titan, of course, with that super crit hit bite attack. Eren perhaps just a little more combat proficient in general. Whoa, okay, alright. I think she just meant please cut the chains, but this works too. You're a Titan. That won't that won't stay off for too long. Now Gabi has the fun of having a severed hand of her dear mentor attached to her, but that's fine. Pieck falls off the side of the building, but immediately titanizes. I think she'll be okay. Sorry, I've got a bit of a cold. It's probably pretty obvious from the way my voice sounds and the fact that I was just hacking there a second ago. But all right, so now we got a good old Titan on Titan fight. Eren, of course, with the ability to coat his fists in armor, the brass knuckle, that brass monkey. But the Jaw Titan is like really nimble. Like, look, he covers like multiple blocks in an instant, leapfrogging from spire to spire. The Cart Titan crawling back up. Gabby gets in the mouth of the Cart Titan, including her severed hand. She has to like put her own severed hand in her mouth, but whatever. Desperate times call for desperate measures. I gotta say, like, something about just the inherent aesthetics of the series really come through in moments like this. That despite this being like a very like focused, we've had dozens of chapters building up to these sorts of moments, so that they're entirely kind of focused on the story significance of what's happening. But just because of how the world of this series works and how the character designs and works and things like that, we get these like jarringly surreal scenes of a young girl crawling into the gigantic mouth of a titan, just have become like iconic as far as the series goes in this really disturbed way. Okay, so now we see into Eren's mind a rare opportunity to kind of actually see what he's directly thinking after many, many chapters of him just doing stuff and everybody saying, well, what the hell is Eren doing? I wasn't expecting Marley to go on an all-out surprise attack and risk themselves like this. It's unlikely that they would decide to make such a risky move given the limited information they have. So, does that mean Marley knows more than he expected? Or that Marley is confident in some overwhelming force? He's on a Titan's body, hiding sword, and uses Warhammer ability to escape underground. It's unlikely we can win like this. Pretty good strategy from Yelena, I think. There's no way that Eren is just going to be able to fight his way out of this one. They're so outmanned and outgunned. But he doesn't care. Hopping off the roof. Ooh. Now, I don't know if he can sense Reiner. I don't know if it's some sort of Titan thing, or maybe just the spirit of combat. Or maybe he just got lucky and Reiner happened to be there. But this is the fated showdown of all fated showdowns. We've seen these two fight 3 or 4 times already. And Reiner, we know, has been through a lot, who has some pretty complicated feelings about his place in this battle as well, and the final outcomes that he'd like to see. But for the moment, wasn't it? You're the one that talked to the Marleyan army into doing something so foolish. Ah, okay. Now, we know that the Marleyan army is also highly motivated here by revenge. And we saw the commander at the end of the last chapter saying, I'm going to get Eren back for that surprise attack during the Dunbar family little performance thing there. So I can see Reiner definitely exploiting that, definitely trying to drum up people's feelings of agitation and revenge around this. Okay, so Yelena, a little distraught that he just ran off like a typical shonen protagonist without hearing the entire plan or really doing anything sensible. Trying to get everyone scrambled to protect Eren. There it is, the armored Titan. But Eren, of course, has armor of his own. And again, an iconic shot. This time here, not so tangential, I guess, from the development of the story. This is just 2 real muscly giant dudes about to fight. That's something you could sell to any manga magazine in the country. Young girl climbs inside gigantic horsewoman's mouth. Maybe less so. There she is. Came from here. Bleh. She just gets dumped out. So Gabby reunited with this commander guy, Captain McGaff. So reckless. Yeah, this is the first time they've seen her since the whole incident in Marley, where she just hopped on the Zeppelin and shot Sasha and had So many adventures since then. But where is Falco? It's a good question. He was there along too. Ah, that's right, that's right. They still have him imprisoned. He got some of Zeke's spinal fluid in his mouth. Falco is in custody with around 300 enemy soldiers who also drank Zeke's spinal fluid. About 500 more enemy soldiers here in the moment. It seems that Zeke is currently not in the city. Of course, right, he's just met up with people of the Yelena faction way out in the countryside, with having sort of settled things with Levi. Really thinks possible the enemy can make use of the original Titan's power. Let's say their side's trump card. Still has not used that trump card. Must mean he is still not in position to do so. So yes, Eren and Zeke have to come together, right? They both need to be present for the original Titan powers. Yeah, the original Titan and the Titan with the royal blood have come together at last, I heard Zeke say in the airship. They're retreating from Marley. Zeke is a Titan with royal blood. Mustn't allow Eren and Zeke to meet. Alright, there's a nice straightforward objective too. We're gonna kill all of these Eldian devils, and specifically, nothing they can do will really come to pass. Nothing to be afraid of until Eren and Zeke meet. This is good. I try to appreciate the more complexities of the plot, and I really, really do value just how kind of morally ambiguous it's gotten, and how there are no clear good guys or bad guys. But I've always thought that like it's good for a series to have something with very obvious stakes, and being able to reduce a complex plot line such that all of the kind of complexity and all of the characterization and all of the morality is still built up within it, but it's like very clear what the stakes are, what each person is scared of happening or wants to happen, and like you can kind of orient yourself around that. Okay, so I appreciate this. Maybe it's just because I'm a dummy, but saying things so clearly, I think, can help quite a lot of the readership. Okay. Oh yeah, he's not Captain McGath anymore. It's General McGath. Reiner fighting the Attack Titan. He's more just than Marley's shield. The fate of the entire world rests on his and our shoulders now. We must put an end to this and kill the original Titan. No more holding back. Putting a stop to this 100-year grudge. Oh, that's the big cannon that they dropped down. They've attached it to the Cart Titan, making her into basically a tank, a super tank, a tank that can climb up the walls of buildings and stuff. And here we have Titan fighting, as it has been for 117 chapters. So it shall be for these remaining ones. Eren punching him right in the forehead. That looks pretty devastating. Like, you can see stuff cracking and splintering, and yeah, look at that. Holy. Normally, the Armor Titan's eyeballs are not exposed like that. And this crazy cross punch here, looking like tomorrow's Joe. Eren seems like pretty dominant right now. Reiner going for a tackle here. This is something that the Armored Titan kind of specializes in, you know, the shield's up. I'm going to run full tilt at you. Oh, excuse me. Dragging Eren along the ground. Flipping him right into a building. And Eren, in response, in one of the more comedic moments I think I've ever seen in an Attack on Titan fight scene, just foots him. He puts his human-esque foot just right in Reiner's face. There's no armor there or anything. It's just a foot. You could at least wear shoes, my man. No, I'm just kidding. But I think it's again, like the aesthetics of the series, the fact that the Titans are in the end just like gigantic, sometimes clumsy, goofy-looking humanoids with real flesh and hair and bones all over them. Really comes through in a situation like this. Like in a mecha series, you wouldn't have this sort of appeal. And because he's already done such significant damage to the armor on Reiner's face, it looks like this kid doing some pretty significant damage. And then meanwhile, the Jaw Titan sneaking up on him. 2v1 situation. Oh, but what has Eren got? It's the Warhammer Titan's power. And of course, the Jaw Titan, infuriated to see this, as it reminds him, of course, of Eren's insanely massacre-y sneak attack. For using me like some nutcracker to kill the Warhammer Titan. Right. Okay, so he's able to, with his armored claws here, slice off the Warhammer Titan powers, spikes and needles and such. Meanwhile, Reiner and the Armor Titan clawing Eren's face. On your own, you're not much of a threat. Just accept it. This is the end for you. Ooh, but the other ability of the Warhammer Titan, making spikes protrude from the ground. Really saving his butt here. That really did look like GG, because the Jaw Titan was coming to just completely bite the nape of his neck. This is definitely like a one-hit kill. But this looks pretty devastating too. It looks like he didn't get either of them in the nape. It looks like this isn't going to be a fatal attack, but how do they get down from there? How do you pull your own body off of what it is impaled upon? Okay, then at this opportunity, Eren's faction of Eldian soldiers flying in on 3D maneuver gear with their shock mallet things, and probably their little X-Acto knife swords too. This is some classic Attack on Titan stuff, you know? I think it's like one thing for a series to like evolve and expand and become much more politically and morally complex. That's all great. But you can't ever go too far away from the things that made the series so popular in the first place. This is what people want to see. They want to see Titan versus Titan, human versus Titan, and all other permutations. Human versus human? Can leave that shit out. No. All right. The lightning rods coming in. Eren taking a shot to the head. This must be from the cannon of the cart Titan. His brains splattered all over the place. Ooh, look at her. She's up on the wall. You guys remember the wall? That's another classic Attack on Titan iconographic image, is the gigantic-ass wall that surrounds the city. Coming into play again. I love all of this. All right. Eren not looking so hot. His brains splattered apart. But that's only his Titan brains. His human brains, probably okay. Blowing out its brain matter and significantly hindered the Titan's mobility. It's incredible. It's general. Either top gunman and appoint him to the top commanding office. The Marleyan army has fallen quite low. So it's he himself that's arming the cannon, right? That's what he's referring to as the top gunman. He's the one aiming and shooting that scored that impressive headshot from the top of the wall. Ninja are on the move. Hurry up and... Oh, but... Enemy fire from other humans. Human versus human. Your lightning rods that are equipped to busting through Titan shell. Not really that relevant when you're up against just a rifle that just shoots gun bullets over and over again. Your puny flesh cannot handle just these little canisters of lead and gunpowder. And they just go bang, 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 bang. Right? What can they possibly do? You can't 3D maneuver your way through just suppressive fire like this. Oh my lord. See, this is it. Like, we saw the Titan versus Titan, the human versus Titan, the human versus human. These have all been the major relevant factor at different times during Attack on Titan. And now they're basically all happening at once. And actually, like, everyone on both sides is fighting all three of these wars simultaneously. Or all four, sorry. All permutations of human and Titan. Sitting ducks surround them. Artillery from the Zeppelins. Oh my god. What hope do the Eldians have left? And Armin can't Titanize. He's down there with all his dear friends. If he tried to Titanize, the Colossal Titan would just smush them. What cards do they have left to play? I think Zeke has got to come back. That's maybe their only hope. Managed to regroup and put forth such an attack in less than a month. Incredible. At this rate, the attention titan is done for. At this rate, he'll get eaten. Yeah, this is kind of interesting, right? Because they were trying to just massacre all of the leadership in the Marleyan army with the kind of logic of, you cut off the head of the snake, so on and so forth. But I think this kind of shows the power of technology, that really it doesn't matter so much who is aiming those guns beyond a base level of competence. It's the guns themselves that are strong. This sort of thinking of like, oh man, can you imagine if we lost like Eren and Armin and Yelena or whoever, like all of these masterminds and powerful people that we have on our side. We just got to do the same for that on their side. But their side doesn't work like that so much. Their side is just like, okay, we'll give the guns to that guy then. All right. Meanwhile, Yelena, looking with devastation at Eren's smoldering, nearly carcassed body. You're special. Watching the Jaw Titan creak his mouth open. Ooh, more spikes. More spikes. Another shot. Eren's eyeball falling out of his skull. Why don't they just aim for the nape of his neck and try to just kill him? Oh, because they don't want to kill him. Yeah, of course. They want to eat him. They want to inherit the original Titan's powers. Of course. Sorry. Oh, excuse me. Make him use all his strength. Warhammer, very powerful, drains up the user's strength very quickly. Surprise attack leap. Tiber? I thought, what did I call them earlier? The Danburu? But yeah, that's who I meant, of course. Just as he said, as he risked his life for our sake, we need a true hero, like the heroes of old, to defend us. Eldian army here just getting massacred. All of their fancy maneuvering can't help them now. When they're just saturated with bullets. They are riddled with bullets. A hero that would save the world. And here, Reiner picking up one of Eren's own spikes, one of the Warhammer Titan spikes. Eren, enough is enough. Just accept it. You lost. Plunging it into Eren's body. And it's true, man. Like, if they were okay with killing him, he would be long dead. It's only because they need the power of the original Titan that Eren's misery and suffering continues here. Sheesh. What comeback could they possibly have? I kind of thought that, the Eldians would win in the end. And at the same time, this feels like such a foregone conclusion that anything else happening would actually be kind of disappointing. Like, this is the strength of Marley. This is the power of the technology and the allies that they have. What really could they have done? Oh, but Eren's got more plays. We'll both die in a few years no matter how much we struggle. We'll all die anyways. Eren's eyeball hanging out down by his mouth. That's not good. This is all pretty brutal. The Jaw Titan coming in. Eren manages a clean backhand, smacking him right on the skull. If you survive this, what's even left for you to live for? This is Reiner's insanely overwhelming sense of nihilism here, as he impales Eren on more spikes, and it's some real kind of intense body horror. Put an end to it for you. Eren, it's all right, Eren. You can rest now. He's about to do it. He's about to bite Eren, his real body, take over the power of the original Titan. But Eren is not having it. Slamming his hand right up into Reiner's skull. Snapping the top of his skull off. And everyone on both sides shocked at this level of insane brutality. kind of reminds me of Evangelion, the scene where Unit 01 eats the angel, you know? And at first everyone is like, yeah, get him! And then they're like, oh god, and everyone starts vomiting. Excuse me, I think we're near the vomiting time. Yeah, this is, got him. He's here, the child prodigy. Ooh. Zeke arrives at the top of the wall. Monkey trouble. All right, so all the pieces are in play now that they can use the original Titan's ability to cause the worldwide sterilization of all Eldian people. They just need to actually physically meet up, I think, and have physical contact between the original Titan and the Titan of Royal Blood. So, the fact that the Marleyan army wiped out most of the Eldian army's forces, kind of irrelevant. The fact that Eren took such a big beating, but, you know, kept his neck, he protected the neck, as the Wu-Tang Clan recommends. It doesn't really matter how beat up he is. All he's got to do is reach out and touch his brother's hand, and their plan just goes ahead, I believe. So, is this the ending that we're heading for? Is there yet another option? I don't know. Good job holding it on your own, Eren. Leave the rest to your dear brother. All right, we're nearing the end of the series. We're nearing the end of the fight. We got some pretty crazy fights in this chapter. As I said, this sort of forefront war of all permutations of human and Titan combat is pretty thrilling. It really plays to the strengths of the mangaka in terms of these fight scenes. Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty happy. It's pretty gross. I don't really handle violence that well, so there's aspects of it that I can appreciate on the level of like, oh, that's well drawn, but not actually on the level of like, I like it. So yeah, let's see what happens. I'm expecting maybe a couple more chapters of just pure combat, but how I'd like to see it end is on a real rumination on the ramifications of what happened. Stepping back into the more philosophical mode of the story, thinking about what it will be to live in this world going forward. I think could be quite interesting and something that kind of lingers with you, is a little more haunting than just seeing Eren's eyeball dangling down by his mouth. All right, that's all for now.